Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And if you're not subscribed, I would love for you to do so. And remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. So today I have Charlotte Tilbury's latest 12 pan instant eyeshadow palette. And this one is called Smoky Eyes Are Forever. This is her holiday release of this year and this is now available for purchase on her website. This retails for $75 on its own, but it is also bundled up with one of her mascaras. I think it's the Push Up Lashes mascara right now. And if you buy this and the mascara, you get 5% off. Mine came with a mini eye blender brush because I ordered it before it was released. So of course I will swatch the shadows and I will also compare this with the other 12 pan palettes from Charlotte Tilbury. I will also wear it and let you know what I think of it and whether you need it. Let's talk about the packaging. This is the outer cover. It's black and gold. It's really quite pretty. And this is where the labels are to tell you what's inside. And this one is made in Italy and it's good for 18 months. And this is the palette. This is really stunning. It's all black and this is rose gold. I think it's very sleek and sophisticated. It's a solid black. The only thing is that it does get thumbprints, which might bother some people. It does bother me, but it's something I can live with, of course. So let's look at the pan. Look at all these gorgeous shadows. It's really beautiful. I want you to get a close-up of these before I put my fingers in. I just can't wait. All right, so let's start with the swatches. So this is Love Eyes. This is Power Eyes. Beautiful. Happy Eyes. Stunning. Confident Eyes. That's Confident Eyes. Love Eyes. Power Eyes. Happy Eyes and Confident Eyes. Let's try the black again. Let's do this again. I just absolutely love how they swatch. They are so buttery, smooth, soft, and they are very pigmented, quite beautiful. There are 5 matte shades here. Each trio has at least one. And there are some shimmer sparkly shades as well. I think about 3 of them, and the rest are all metallic shades. And these are quite gorgeous, guys, as you can see. Absolutely stunning. And so while we are swatching, let me also compare with the other palettes that I have. This is Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise. This was from last year. And let's take a look at them side by side. I don't see much similarities except maybe between a few shades from Happy Glow and Happy Eyes. And maybe even Love Eyes and Dark Glow. So let's see if there is any similarity. So here are some of the swatches. The ones on the top are from the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise palette. I don't think there are any similarities. The shades are quite distinct, except maybe for this. Once it's on the eyes, there may not be much of a difference, but the shades are quite different. So I don't find anything in here that is over here. I mean, they are quite distinct, in my opinion. Let's compare it with the Pillow Talk palette. So even in Pillow Talk, I could only find maybe just one shade, and they're also pretty different from each other. And maybe this and this, no, I think they're still quite different. And then the browns, you know, this is a lot smokier, more taupe-ish, very deep taupe. And this is a lot warmer. So again, not much, you know, they're quite different from each other. And now let's look at Starry Eyes to Hypnotize. Now, when I looked at this palette, I instantly thought of this one because this, in my opinion, does have quite a few similar shades, especially the green. The Power Eyes and Dream Glow, I thought were similar, and I almost considered not getting this palette. Even if you look at Love Glow and Happy Eyes in here, they seem sort of in the similar shade range. And of course, they both have the black. So this is a palette which I think will have a lot in common with the new palette. So yeah, I do think that the green shades are similar. You probably will not notice a difference once they're on the eyes. These two shades are similar, except this is matte and this one is metallic, but pretty much the same. And up here is Love Glow. Love Glow is a bit different. That one is more berry toned, whereas this is more warm brown. So slight differences, but main is the green shade. So yeah, you could say that there are quite a bit of similar shades here. So if you do not have this, it would definitely make sense getting this. So even if you have Pillow Talk and Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize, this is definitely quite distinct from the two of them. And these are all of the palettes and all of the shades. I hope you're able to get some idea of what they are like. This palette is pretty unique. It definitely is different from this Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize and also the Instant Pillow Talk palette. The only one it's similar to is the Starry Eyes to Hypnotize. So I think it makes a lot of sense to get this one if you've missed out on that palette. So let me try these out on the eyes and I'll be back. So I'm back and I have worn this. I've tried it a few times. I've also tried it with other palettes, and especially those shades that I thought was similar. So here's what I think, and let's look at this one. Love Eyes, the first trio, honestly does not do much for me. It does have a lot of fallout, including the matte as well as the shimmer sparkly shades. My face was full of glitter once I was done applying this. These two shades are pretty much the same, and I honestly didn't like the look of this much. It was too glittery, too much, I guess. Very, very dressy. It's not a smoky look at all. But of course, if I want to make it smoky, I can pull other shades in and make this work, of course. Because they are all in the same palette, it would be easy. And it's not like I have to grab other palettes to make it work. But still, I usually stick with the trios as suggested by Charlotte Tilbury. And I really feel the need to pull in other shades. But for this one, I had to make this one work. And that is hardly an issue, but the bigger issue is the fallout and my face being full of glitter. And that's not really pleasant. I have to keep wiping it and it just gets everywhere. And that, I think, for me is the first that's happened that way with the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow. It's not happened before. Now moving on to Power Eyes, I actually like this one quite a bit. I think this is probably my favorite of all of the trios here. And it's funny because I almost didn't buy this palette because of these three shades, because I thought this was very similar to the Starry Eyes to Hypnotize greens. And when I put both of these on, I thought that they were going to look identical. They almost do, but there is a difference. Like this one is definitely a lot smokier because we do have a darker, deeper taupe shade here. Whereas over here, you only have this slightly glittery shade. And also I felt that the look here was a lot warmer, more golden. It does brighten the eyes a lot more. And of course, it's a lot smokier. I do absolutely love this look, and I do love this matte shade a lot. I think it's very sophisticated. I could wear this on its own too for a very sultry look. That's not too much. And that could even work for office, I think. And also I felt that the Starry Eyes to Hypnotize green always irritated my eyes a bit. Even the pencil does sometimes. It's something to do with green pigments from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't have issues with green with other brands, but come to think of it, I don't have many greens from other brands either, except maybe from Urban Decay, but there has never been an issue there. But the Power Eyes here with the newer palette are absolutely fine. There is no irritation. It looks really fabulous. But again, it's a little bit more dressy than the previous one. You can, of course, go a bit light-handed and make it more subtle if you want to. But like with the Starry Eyes to Hypnotise Dream Glow, it was very subtle, very everyday, yet quite dressy. Really, you could go from day to night, but this is definitely more nighttime. I mean, this is a Smoky Eyes Are Forever palette, so all of the looks here are definitely a lot smokier, more nighttime, more festive. But the formula here is definitely much better, no irritation, and it looks even better. So this is definitely a winner for me. Moving on to Happy Eyes, this is also very dressy, very glamorous. It does have some fallout, but not as much as the Love Eyes. It does look similar to a few shadows from Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise. I mean, not exactly the same. I thought that maybe this was similar to this, but they are quite distinct from each other when I put them on the eye. But I could pull shades from this palette, a bit more browns, and create this look without much of an issue. The only difference would be that this shade here in the newer palette is a lot more sparkly, whereas in the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise, there aren't any sparkly shades. They're mostly all just metallic. The Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise palette I felt was also quite dressy, but if you thought that that was dressy, this one is way more that. This is definitely way more festive, way more party, a lot more glam. Moving on to Confident Eyes. Now this is the smokiest of all of the trios here, but also the most disappointing. I guess that's because I was expecting this shade to be a lot more pink. Like from the photos, this one seemed like a very pretty light pink, and I thought it would go really beautifully with the darker shades here. But it actually goes on very dark, and it's not very sparkly either. It's not very pigmented. It's quite sheer, and the pigments almost fall out. Here, let me just show you. So this is how it swatches. I mean, yes, if you move it around, you can get some pink, but it's not the light shade of pink that I was expecting it to be. And also what I noticed was that, you know, if I try to blend it too much, you know, the sparkly shades are all gone. I mean, the pigments just fall out, and what I'm left with is like a deep brownish, burgundy-ish, very sheer kind of a shade. And so I was quite disappointed with this one. And because of the fallout of the Love Eyes and also the performance of this shade, I thought I probably got a dud of a palette. And I thought I might have to return it or exchange it. But then I ended up dropping this palette. As you know, I am getting some work done in the house, so everything is topsy-turvy. And it's my fault, I guess. I ended up dropping it. And so this is the shade that came out. Fortunately, it was still in the pan, and so I was able to push it back and somehow make it work. And I don't think it falling has anything to do with the performance, because I did use it before the fall. So it still performs just the same. The only thing is I'll not be able to return it, I guess, which is quite annoying. But I was able to create the same look from these three that I was able to get from Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise palette from last year. Actually, it's the other way around. So I was able to create using Dream Glow and the brown from Seduce Glow, the same look as I would get from Confident Eyes here. So that's something to think about. If you already have Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotise, you get the same look from the Dream Glow over here as you would from Confident Eyes if you just add Seduce Glow. At least on me, that was the result. And also, I found these hard to work with. Usually Charlotte Tilbury palettes are so easy to use and they're super blendable, but this one took me a few tries to get it right. I really had to work with this one. The first time I found it to be too muddy, then I got raccoon eyes. And so I was like, what's going on here? And I was really determined to return it until I dropped it. But this kind of issue was not there with any of her other palettes. I am very easily able to work with the purples here, so it has nothing to do with pigmentation. So something definitely wrong with the quality issue here, I think. It could also be that because this is just quite dark and maybe I have a hard time working with very dark shadows. Usually Charlotte Tilbury shades are quite neutral. and are easy to work with. She doesn't always have black in her palettes, and maybe the brown here is also quite dark, and so I did have to work with it. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not a professional. I'm just somebody who loves playing around with makeup, and that's why I love Charlotte Tilbury palettes, because she makes it so easy. I don't have to be super creative. I don't have to have all my tools or my brushes. I can work with my fingers and make them work, and I've never had any issues with any of her palettes in the past except for this one. I did use my fingers and it didn't work for this one. I have Sigma brushes as well as Morphe and BK Beauty brushes, and you know, the result was pretty much the same with those brushes or with my fingers. But eventually I was able to make it work, and the look was quite smoky, quite glamorous, and actually very beautiful. Looks wise, I think this is definitely a more festive party look. Really, I was thinking New Year's already, but I just have to budget some time to make sure that this works fine. So overall, I do think this one is a very glamorous, very party, festive kind of a palette. It's not an everyday eyeshadow palette, at least not for me. It's very smoky, except for the first one, like I mentioned, because there's a lot of sparkle, and some of these shades are quite bold, very deep. And I guess the only one I could think of wearing it is Power Eyes, which can be a daytime if you're light-handed, or I could just stick with the mattes and make it work for day. But then paying $75 for just a few matte shades that most of us might already have in our collection really doesn't make sense for me. Also, if you have Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize or Starry Eyes to Hypnotize, I don't really think you need this one. And these two are still available on her website for the same price as this. It's quite interesting that when I swatched these shades against the shades from these two palettes, it seemed like they weren't similar at all, but when I put them on, I was able to create exactly same looks. So I was actually even puzzled why she would make this one with the same eyeshadow. You know, if she were to discontinue Starry Eyes to Hypnotize, it makes sense for her to release this. But to have very similar shades in this one, I don't know. And the formula, I prefer the formulas in the previous two pans. Honestly, guys, I'm not super thrilled with the formulas here. They're just as easy. I'm not saying they're tough, but like I said, there is some fallout, there is some muddiness. They are blendable. There's nothing wrong with the blendability of these shadows. They're very easy to work with still, but they're probably too easy. They keep falling everywhere. So I do prefer the previous two formulas. And also with the green, if you already have her quad, which is either the Green Lights or Rebel, I think they're both the same. I don't have the quad, but I'm wondering if they are also similar to the green shades that are in these two palettes. So if you have the Rebel quad or the Green Lights, please do let me know if these are any similar. It would definitely help the other viewers as well. So again, I think if you're looking for something glamorous for party looks, then you could consider getting this. But if you don't have a previous two palettes, but I would also suggest for you to shop around. Check out other palettes from brands like Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, which also have very well-performing, highly pigmented, glittery, duochrome, metallic, sparkly shades. So that was it, guys. That was my review. Do let me know if you are planning to get this or you're going to pass up on this one. I would love to know. And if you have any questions about this palette, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if it helped you in your purchase decision. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.